Welcome to the Parenting Tips Podcast. I'm Jeff Ryland. Kids are born with a full range of emotions. If you have ever spent time with a baby or a young toddler, you can appreciate that they can be curious and inquisitive, excited, happy, angry, sad, tired, hungry. But they have a difficult time telling you that. They show it. They cannot say it. They may not even understand it. The problem, they just can identify and express their emotions very well with words. This is because their brains are still developing. They don't yet have the language to tell you what they're feeling. They don't have the knowledge to connect the dots between their experiences and the emotions that they express. Many of you have seen the Pixar movie Inside Out. This movie is a great depiction of the sometimes conflicted and competing emotions that we all experience. In the sequel, Riley, the main character, acquires additional, more nuanced and complex emotions as she has matured. Keep in mind that in the movie, Riley is becoming a teenager. Much of the foundation for emotional development starts much younger for children. But being able to identify more emotions was not an afterthought for the movie script writers. It was by design, because that is how emotions develop. Imagine you, as an adult, have divided feelings about something. Let's say a coworker, a friend, or someone you care about is moving away. On the one hand, you may be happy for them because of the new opportunities and the adventures that await them. On the other hand, you may feel sad to see them go and wonder who may fill that spot in your life that they used to occupy. As adults, we experience mixed emotions about many things. We are able to hold two competing emotions in our minds at the same time. This is called adult thinking. Young children cannot do this. They struggle with a cascade of emotions tumbling at them all at once. It's not as if they can't feel these emotions. They just can't process them to make sense of them just yet. Their brains are still growing. As with all elements of child development, physical development, sexual development, social development, and cognitive development, there is also emotional development. This emotional development, just like all other forms of development, occur over a long period of time and not overnight. I would like to credit the work of Dr. Susan Harder, professor of developmental psychology at the University of Denver, for her work on the emotional development of children. During her career and her lifetime, Dr. Harder was a true pioneer in this field. I read and reread many of her articles in my career. I cannot do her insightful work justice, but I'm going to try. Think about emotions developing much like the way a child's ability to move develops. At first, babies begin to roll and then to creep and crawl and walk, and then they run and hop and skip and jump and turn and twist and do all sorts of things that adults can do. But they start out with the very basic and sometimes unsteady movements, creeping and crawling. Children develop their ability to express emotions in a sequential way. At young ages, toddler to kindergarten, children have a fairly limited vocabulary for emotion words. They can be happy, mad, sad, and scared, for example. They would be hard-pressed to know the difference between frustrated and annoyed, worried and scared, joyful and elated. Why? Well, because their vocabulary doesn't have some of these words, and because they're really best able to describe emotions with a broad brush: happy, sad, mad, scared. As children age, they acquire more experience. For very young children, they are still learning words and language to help make sense and meaning of their experiences. It's believed that babies have the capacity to experience a very wide range of emotions, but they also have a limited means of expressing emotions. They can coo, cry, and laugh. They don't yet have words. Have you ever been woken in the middle of the night to have your child crying and they can't tell you what's wrong? You check for fever, you wonder if their tummy hurts, you wonder if they may be teething. A cry can mean so many things. Initially, children can talk about one emotion at a time. By the age of 4 or 5, children are fairly able to identify a limited range of feelings. They can tell you they're feeling happy, sad, mad, or scared, for example. These are fairly broad and basic emotions. They have not yet learned the subtle differences between a little frustrated or annoyed and being rageful. It is as if one size fits all. And at this young age, children are only able to process and hold in their mind one emotion at a time. A kindergartner might be puzzled if you were to suggest they could have two emotions at once, because they only have one brain. As children move into grade school, they begin to experience emotions as being sequential, meaning that one emotion comes after another in kind of a linear fashion. They may say something like, "First I was mad that my little brother played with my Legos, then I was sad when he broke my Lego model." At this stage, kids can make sense of emotions by seeing them as connected in a linear fashion. One emotion comes after the next, like dominoes falling. As children begin to enter their pre-adolescence, they can start to experience emotions simultaneously. However, it's not quite so straightforward, because children are only able to imagine that emotions can occur at the same time if they are in the same valence. Well, let's hit pause and talk about positive valence and negative valence. Positive valence are all the emotions that are generally considered positive, such as happy, excited, proud, grateful, curious, hopeful, relieved, and the like. Negative valence emotions are all the emotions that are more negative to express, like anger, sadness, worry, fear, jealousy, frustration, and so on. You may be surprised to learn that there are probably as many positive valence emotions as there are negative valence emotions, but we tend to focus on the ones that we want to avoid or have difficulty with expressing. They get the most attention. For children in these preteen years, they cannot imagine experiencing the mixed emotions that are both positive valence and negative valence. For them, it would be hard to imagine that someone can be both sad and also relieved, anxious and also excited. What I'm describing just now is called adult thinking. At this last stage, as children move into their adolescence, they begin to have the ability to hold in their minds and express two different emotions of opposite valence. To give another example that hopefully will make sense of this, imagine a 6-year-old who is experiencing a parental divorce. A part of him may be sad that his parents are not together. He may be attuned to one or the other parent's sadness as well. A part of him may be worried about how the other parent is doing when he's away from them. A part of him may be excited to spend time with each parent. A part of him may also feel relief that he's not hearing arguing at home as he did when his parents were together. In this scenario, I've just laid out 4 different emotions, 2 negative valence emotions and 2 positive valence emotions, opposite valence emotions. This 6-year-old may experience these emotions, but it will be years before he's able to talk about them in a way that I've just written about. This is called adult thinking. A 6-year-old cannot think in these complex ways like a 16-year-old can. To wrap up, children's ability to manage their emotions is ongoing. They're not born with the skills to regulate their emotions. These skills come as they develop and mature. So how can this information be helpful? Well, hopefully, wading through this kind of complex maze of emotions can remind you that when it comes to identifying, expressing, and regulating emotions, your child's age, developmental ability, unique personality, and their social environment, what and how they learn from others, all play a role. When it comes to the development of emotions, kids are born with the ability to express their feelings through gestures, crying, screaming, giggling, and cooing. But it's up to us as parents to sort out what emotions they're feeling and to help them. There are things parents can do. First, be patient. Consider your child's age and ability. Second, stay calm. Learning about emotions takes practice. Third, consider how you, as a parent, manage your emotions. How do you look and act when you become dysregulated? 4, work to help your child use their words to tell you how they're feeling. Describe the feelings that you see them showing you. Use your words to help them develop their own words for their emotions. As young children grow and acquire language, they're better able to identify and express their emotions with words. But they do best with one emotion at a time. As children pass through latency-age childhood and enter into their tween years, they begin to be able to express different emotions happening at the same time. As with many things, children may understand some of their emotions, but they may struggle with mastering how to express them. In the next episode, we'll talk about what happens when kids become dysregulated and start to unpack what you as a parent can do. Thank you for tuning in and considering this parenting topic. I hope this information added to your growing toolbox for parenting your child or children. Please consider exploring other topics in this series. Remember, no one parenting tool can do everything. We need many tools to become the best parents for our children. Your children's future depends on you and the time and effort you invest in them today.